sing, I make it say, we, 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 I make it sing. Yeah. Mrs. Officer in the dark, hey. No, but seriously, let's bring the vibes back to the music, man. Like, come on now. It doesn't always have to be so serious, you know. I love that about the 2000s music. It's like still so fun and just like they're just having so much fun. Let's bring that back. Let's bring that back. But maybe that's just the vibes right now. Like it's literally the end of the world, so the vibes are giving that, which makes sense. Everybody's wearing black and shit like that. But yeah, I guess it just makes sense. Maybe that is just the times we're in. But that is not why I'm here today. It is Tuesday. What is up, you guys? It's Tuesday, and I just got back from New York, this past weekend. And yeah, we took a trip out there. We did shows back to back, 3 shows, 2 panels. One of the panels I did actually end up missing, but yeah, a lot of stuff, you know, a bunch of shows and stuff like that out there. It was a lot of fun. If you guys know or don't know, there's this conference that goes on every year called NFT NYC, right? And this is my 3rd year going out for NFT NYC, going out to New York for that few days. And I think actually after the first actual like conference, I've been like hosting events at every single one of these conferences, whether it's a meetup, whether it's like a party, or whether it's like a gallery or whatever it might be, a showcase. I've been hosting events in New York for 3 years during this conference time, and so I'm pretty like, it's like one of my favorite things to do. Like it's like one of the most fun weeks of my life usually. Always new experiences, always meet new people. Last year I met like Ja Rule and some other shit. Went to the studio. Tupac, was in and got shot in Penthouse Studios, all that stuff. Got to like perform a new song that I made, all this stuff. And it was awesome. And every single year it's awesome. It's like a big party. First year I got to see like Madonna and somebody else live. And what's his name? Dude, what is his name? I forget his name. Saucy Santana. I saw Saucy the first year as well, and Princess Nokia and Deadmau5 really randomly. But yeah, just it's always been a ton of fun. And I always go out, for this conference, and it's like, since I've been like hosting events of these things, this is my 3rd year hosting an event during this, conference or whatever. But the thing is, like, I hosted my own event, like, totally from the beginning. I was hosting my own event outside of the conference, and I feel like I was only really going to events outside of the conference, the satellite events, stuff like that. That's where all the shows were at. That's where all the music was at. That's where all the art was at. That's where everything, all the culture, all the people, that I wanted to meet were at. They were outside of the conference. That's where all the stuff was going on. Was the events outside of the conference, and so I feel like, from the beginning, I feel like I kind of realized that the least valuable thing about NFT NYC, or really any conference, because after that I went to a bunch of other conferences, Art Basel, all these other ones, VCon, all these other conferences as well. And I feel like every single time except for I feel like VCon did a really good job because it was in Indianapolis, so it's not like there's a ton of stuff to do outside of the city, outside of the conference. So a lot of the cool things were there, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like pretty much every single time I walk away just like feeling like, like really the coolest shit is not, it doesn't have anything to do with the conference. Like it's everything outside of the conference. It's all the people, talking to all these people that I've been, talking to on the internet for like months or maybe even a year or more. And like getting to meet them in person and getting to hang out with them and getting to hang out with my friends, I feel like, that I never really get to hang out with, maybe all together, or really just never really get to like hang out in person together. Like that's a really big highlight. It's always, always, always been like the most cool thing about going to any of these conferences. And I feel like I've always thought it was insane that people pay $1,000+ for a ticket to one of these conferences, because I don't think it's worth it. I really don't think it's worth it. I would never in my life, never in my life. You know what I'm saying? I do not think it's worth it to pay $1,000 just to be around people. You know what I'm saying? Because people are going to be hanging out anyway. You can just go directly to them. You know what I'm saying? And that brings me to to the next thing, which is like, are conferences actually worth it? You know what I'm saying? Are like conventions and shit like that, are they actually worth it? Because in my experience, like, they're like the least interesting part of them was the actual convention or the actual conference. You know what I'm saying? That was like the least interesting part, of the whole thing. The most interesting part was me and my friends, or events that we were interested in that were outside of the conference, that usually had something to do with music, usually had something to do with, culture and shit like that, and just having fun also, you know what I'm saying? Like, usually that's the most fun part, and that's me and all of my friends. So what the fuck am I doing? Like, really, what even value does, like, I'm just gonna be totally honest, like, what value does performing at your conference really give me? Especially if the events that me and my friends are having have more people at them than your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to be honest, I feel like the most lit show, the most lit freaking crowds that I performed at out of the 3 shows that I did were at were only at me and my friends events. You know what I'm saying? We had the most lit time there. Way more lit, way more people than at the actual NFT NYC conference. You know what I'm saying? That's like this official thing, and it's in this huge building and like all this stuff. You have to get a badge and you have to get all this shit. The most fun experiences, the most lit experiences were outside of that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we were the most lit part of the conference itself. So it's like, what are we actually doing here? Like, the value that we provide has nothing to do with the conference, has nothing to do with the convention. The value that we are getting has nothing to do with the conference and nothing to do with the convention. And I feel like all of these years, I mean, this is my 3rd year. I feel like all of these years, it's really just been a really good excuse for all of these people that are on the internet, that usually only talk to each other on the internet or through a phone, to come together and come to the same city and be in the same city for a few days. That is super valuable. That's like the most lit part. But could we actually organize that on our own, where we just all fly into a certain city, for a few days? Or we all, like, could we organize that on our own? Could we make our own excuse for everybody to come out to one city, for everybody in one community to come out to one city for a few days? Because if we can, then I feel like we actually don't need NFT NYC. We actually don't even need Art Basel. We don't need a big conference, a big excuse. I feel like Art Basel is different because it's a much bigger group of people that all agree to fly to Miami for a week and just go crazy. That's still very valuable because it's a really, really, really big excuse, and a lot of people from a lot of different sectors and a lot of different levels and a lot of different, like, paths or whatever, all agree to come to Miami. And I feel like that is super valuable. And I think that couldn't be coordinated on that level and that scale without something like, like a big festival or a big event to bring people. But I feel like these, like, smaller ones that are really niche communities that are NFTs or Web3 or whatever it might be, I feel like the biggest draw from the people that I even talked to at the conference was that they don't get to talk about this stuff with people that also know about it. They don't get to talk about this stuff in their regular day-to-day. You know what I'm saying? And the big draw for them was just like, oh my gosh, I get to be around people that understand, that are part of this same culture, the same community that I'm a part of, that have the same interests that I do. But do we actually need $1,000 ticket? Do we actually need the conference to do that? And I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I don't know. I feel like we could probably just have our own conference. I don't think that's like the biggest value. I feel like traveling is a big value for artists. I feel like linking up with other creators in other cities is very valuable to artists. I feel like trying shit, you know what I'm saying? Just trying shit is very valuable. Meeting people that you've been talking to online is very valuable. But I feel like all of that could be coordinated outside of a conference, So I don't know how valuable they are. I don't know if they're worth it or not. I don't think they're worth the money. If you're paying $1,000 for a ticket, they're definitely not worth the money. That's an easy no. You know what I'm saying? But whether they're worth it or not for artists to actually go to and attend and, like, do all these things, I don't know. Because I ended up performing at NFT NYC and they didn't even pay me. They didn't pay any artist that performed. You know what I'm saying? So we had to figure out our own ways to, like, try to get paid. I mean, I got to sell some merch. Shout out to everybody that caught beanies out there. Shout out to everybody that got a free t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? Feel free to tag at Krash World Inc. Tag the gang. But yeah, Yeah, man. But in other news, though, I'm actually feeling great because I finally got this freaking thing to work. This Wonder Dynamics like character validation to actually pass it for my rig for my girl. And so the first video from using this program, it's like an AI CGI program. So before, all my videos with girl in the background, that's manually me, you know, animating her manually and then putting her in the video manually. And it is a process. And then this new like software, this new like AI CGI software called Wonder Dynamics. I'm not being sponsored, but it is a really, really cool thing. So, you know, that's what I've been trying to figure out for the past couple weeks. I finally got to figure it out today. So it actually animates it with AI, you know what I'm saying? And it puts it in the video in live action footage with AI. So you don't have to do all that stuff manually. And you can use the same character in different animations, different footage, stuff like that. And it just makes it way easier. And it's going to be a huge freaking level up for my content for real, with using like mixing realities with 3D and live action. So I finally got past all the errors, and the thing that worked was not tutorials. It was not looking at the documentation. It was not looking at any of the stuff. It was literally well, that did help like towards the end after I got past this error loop that I've been in for like 2 weeks. But the thing that got me out of the error loop that I've been in for 2 weeks was me just trying shit. Was literally just being like, oh fuck, okay. Well, maybe it could be this, and then going and trying it, you know what I'm saying? And just trying shit and clicking around and trying shit. That was what got me out of the fucking error loop. It wasn't any documentation or FAQs or this or that or tutorials. It was just me trying shit. And that brings me to the next point, which is like one of the most valuable experiences in life is just trying shit. Just fucking trying shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't always have to know exactly what you're doing or why you're doing it or how you're going to do it or whatever. Just going into somewhere and just trying shit. Like, there's no amount of tutorials. There's no amount of how-tos. There's no amount of any advice that anyone can give you that will beat you just going out and trying shit. You know what I'm saying? Because there is no specific manual for you in this exact moment, for this exact task, for this exact thing that you want to do. You're just going to have to try shit, you know? So, like, that was my big lesson for today. It was just like, oh, my gosh, like, this is how I've been able to figure things out all along. Was, like, pray. I prayed about it, and then I just tried some shit. Like, you don't have to know what you're doing. Like, no amount of, like, tutorials or books or advice or anything will get you farther than just that, you know? So, like, you know, that's it for the day. That's what got me through this error loop that I've been in for 2 weeks that I thought would take me a whole week. But day 2, I solved it in, like, literally 30 minutes, an hour. And so now I'm making this video, and then I'm going to write the newsletter, you know? So if you want written insights, you can go to my website. You can go to krash.world, Krash with the K, subscribe with the email. If you want to do a bonus, you can put your number and subscribe at the top to text updates, because that way you'll get access to an unreleased song from me that will never ever be on streaming platforms. That is only for people that subscribe to the text updates, and it's free to subscribe. So all of this stuff is free. Just do it for the love, do it for the culture, you know what I'm saying? But join us this Friday. We're going to be talking about our convention's worth it, our conference is worth it. Me, Leo Pastel, Jamie Cornelius. Shout out the gang. Also, we finally got a picture together. And yeah, you know, we're going to be on there talking about if it's worth it. I think that traveling is great for artists. I feel like it's been really great for me. I made a little video about it. It's on my YouTube as well. So I'm going to stop talking though, because this video is already like 14 minutes. But yeah, just come to the space this Friday. If you need a community to be a part of, we can be that for you. You know, we have a group chat. It's a private group chat. We don't let everyone in. But the first step is coming to our spaces, our live audio conversations on Twitter, where we talk about different stuff every single week, questions that we genuinely have as artists, as people, and we get together and we share our experiences and we share our perspectives openly with hundreds of other artists. And yeah, just share the solutions that we got. But the first step to getting in the group chat that's private is coming to the space. And then that way you can get into that. We can add you, me or Pastel. But yeah, gang, Krash Road, gang. Peace.